Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name's Dave if you're new here. If you're not, well, my name's still Dave. And if you can't tell where I'm at, then maybe you don't have chickens, because I'm right in the chicken coop today in the run. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the chickens I have, as well as the reasons why I got them. I'm sorry, they're all around my feet right now. I don't want to step on anybody. And just show you what I have and what my reasoning was for getting some of these chickens. So without further ado, I don't want to do a long intro because this video will probably take a few minutes. I like to keep my videos around 10 or 15 minutes at most, so I'm worried this one may take longer because I do like talking about them. So I'm going to turn you around, and what we're going to do, okay, you're in the run, and we're actually gonna, I've got a 5-gallon, or I've got a trash can here. That's what I keep my feed in, right in the run. And we're going to throw a little bit of feed out here. Yeah, we're going to talk about you, Mr. Noisy. Okay, a little bit of feed, just to keep them a little bit occupied. Yep, I know. So I'm going to sit down here, show you the birds. They're all in one spot. So let's start with those two, the white ones there. Those are my Delawares. Delawares were a briefly popular broiler bird. Actually, I live in the mid-Atlantic states, so they somewhat local. They do a pretty good job of laying eggs. They are about 20 eggs, 200 eggs per year, roughly, which is really where a lot of my chickens are. I do have a few that you'll see in here. For example, that's a cinnamon queen that was purchased by accident. However, I'll get into that in a second. So anyway, the Delaware is originally a broiler bird, was then quickly replaced by, I believe it was the Cornish, which is a much faster growing bird. So I have three groups of birds right now. I have some birds that I bought a year ago. That would include the Plymouth Rock, the Dominiques, and my one lone Rhode Island Red. Those were purchased a year ago, and they've done very well for me. I bought them from an online hatchery. I was not thrilled about the fact that I did lose about 30% of the birds that were brought to me, or that were shipped to me. The following year, which is now last April, I ordered from the same hatchery. Oh, everybody's going away. Ordered from the same hatchery, and the bird count, the mortality count, was almost 50%, which again, I'm obviously not happy about. Now, you get a refund on that, but it bothers me to have birds shipped to me that many birds are dying. So, I bought a last group. So the third group I bought is what are the cinnamon queens, as well as blue laced Wyandottes. And those I found a local feed store that that did sell chicks on site. So I didn't have to deal with any mortality issues. So when I talk about them, they're either going to be the old birds like this Dominique here, or they're going to be young birds like the cinnamon queen and the blue laced Wyandotte. The young birds are coming up on 20 weeks old. They're probably about 18 or 19 weeks old. And then we have the middle group here, like this Delaware and this Well Summer, who reached 20 weeks, maybe about, so they're probably about 28 weeks or so. They reached 20 weeks a few months ago. So, okay, so I thought they were going to stay out if I fed them, and they've all gone underneath the coop. So we're kind of right under the coop. The coop is elevated. So the Delawares I got, basically, they're just kind of on a whim because they were a local bird. They do have some local history to me, and I just like the idea of them. I did break at least two of my rules when I bought the Delawares, I do have criteria for what I would look for in a bird. One is that the birds are dark colored. I've read so much on it, and while I'm still new, it makes sense to me that they are, the dark colored birds are easier to camouflage, especially from aerial predators, which we do have quite a few. But there they are, so they're white. The other one I have is that while I live in a rural area, my property does sort of back up to a larger development several hundred yards away. So I do try to go for birds that are not noisy. And these Delawares are noisy. They are definitely noisy. However, I got another one here that I read was quiet, and turns out they're pretty chatty also. And so that is my next bird, the speckled Sussex. The speckled Sussex is a very old breed from England. It apparently fell out of favor for a while and was really looking seriously like it was going to go out. And however, it's come back. I like these birds. They're some of my friendliest birds as far as I go. I'll tell you, none of my birds are lap birds. I don't come out here generally and sit with them. I don't come out and spend hours just being with them. So they are none of them are super friendly. They do follow me around, especially when I go in the garden. They do follow me for treats, but they always seem to stay a little bit out of arm's length. The speckled Sussex, I have 3 of them, and they each have different patterns, different varying amounts of white on their on the tips of their feathers. So this is one of the groups that I have. These are some of the birds. I haven't named a lot of my birds, but I definitely have named these. This is the middle bird. This is light cream, the bird that has very little coloring. Oh, she happens to be right here. This is half and half, and I don't see the other one right now, but the other one is heavy cream, and sorry, I didn't mean to spin you all around there, and she's got much more white on her. So those are my 3. All my birds, I want birds that are good foragers. All my birds are good foragers. The ones that are probably the least good at foraging, I would say so far, are these blue lace Wyandottes. I'm not sure why that is. I hadn't really read anything one way or another, but they just don't seem to really get into it like some of the others do. But I do want good foragers because my birds are usually kept in this run. You can see it's the enclosed space they have is about 30 feet by 12 feet, and I have a total of 18 birds. So they're kept in this run till about noon or so, because that's when they lay most of their eggs, is first thing in the morning, and I don't want to be searching for eggs all over the yard. After around 12 or 1 o'clock, they are let outside and they free range until dark. So they get a very good mix of both. They come back in and then get closed up at night. So I want a good foragers. I don't want chatty birds, super chatty birds anyway. And then the other one that I don't want is I don't want broody birds. I am right now not able, as far as time or resources or facility or equipment, to handle raising chicks on a regular basis. And while I did, take these chicks that were day old, obviously that I had shipped to me and took care of them, I don't want to be doing it on the regular. So I do not, I try to stay away from broody hens. So the next one is the Welsummer. I got the Welsummers. They're very good foragers. They lay a great number of eggs. I have 3 Welsummers, and I can generally count on 2 eggs a day from the 3 of them. So they do a good job. They're somewhere in the 200 to 250 eggs per year range. They are very good foragers. They stick close to the flock, especially to their rooster, and they Temperament, they're kind of aloof. They don't get real close to me, not as much as some of the other birds, at least that come around and are curious. But they are probably middle of the range. You know, a lot of my birds, it's funny. They're really kind of middle range on temperament. I'll tell you, one of the ones right here, this girl right here, this Dominique, she is one of my old girls, and she definitely is a roost ruler, as well as that one, that Dominique over there, sitting down right now. The Welsumers, I got really, you know, they're a bird that they've only been in this country about 100 years. Came from the Netherlands. They're sort of a mutt of birds that were interbred, and then finally they came upon a stable species. Oops, somebody's going in to lay an egg. And we got several of them, and in the mix, although I've been told that Welsumers are auto-sexing, they're very easy to sex at birth, we mistakenly got this guy, this big boy. So this is one of the Welsumers are one of my middle groups of chickens that arrived in April, and he was different almost from the beginning. A lot of those birds died. That was in the group that I had that had a 50% mortality. But this guy, my what is it? My ignorance, my inexperience with chickens, I did not pick up right away he was a rooster until they were probably about 8 weeks old, and he was definitely really showing different coloration, different stance, growing faster, a little bigger than everybody else. And there he is. I wasn't happy, I'm not going to lie. I didn't want a rooster. I did not want to deal with a rooster. However, he has been fantastic. I will tell you, he's number one. He's beautiful, and I apologize you cannot see him very easily back there because the girls are he's got his harem all crowded around. But he is beautiful, number one. Welsummer roosters have that bright reddish collar you can see. Their tail feathers have an iridescent, almost greenish blue color, and he's got streaks of that iridescent color all through him, as well as then the gold repeats on kind of what I would call the saddle of his back. He has good temperament. He has run at me several times. However, just nudging him away with my foot has really been enough, and he's kind of gotten the idea. He certainly knows that I'm the one who brings the food and opens the door for him to go out. And as far as going out and free-ranging, he is amazing. He is part shepherd, part sheepdog, herding dog, the whole 9 yards. He keeps the girls together. He calls to them when there's any missing, and they really do all flock to him. In the beginning, these older birds, this Plymouth Rock, this Dominique, there's a Rhode Island Red around here somewhere, as well as the Dominique that just went into the hen house to lay an egg. They really picked on him. They really did not want to really associate with him. However, now they stick right with him, and he's been a very good addition to the flock, despite my concerns. There's my other speckled Sussex. That's Heavy Cream. She's got lots and lots and lots. You can see that's perfect contrast. The two of them right there. She's much more white, much more light colored. And they really are my inquisitive birds. They look around. They want to know what's going on all the time. Now, right in between there, preening is... Oh, no, wait. That's one of my Welsumers. Where are my other girls? Are they hiding? These are my newest birds, and they still very skittish and very nervous around me, as well as even the other birds. This is a cinnamon queen. I was, they want to be fussy today. I can't believe they're not out there feeding. There we go. We got 3 cinnamon queens. They were sold to me, and I was told they were speckled Sussex, and guess what? They're not. they're cinnamon queens. I've looked it up. I've researched it. They're definitely cinnamon queens. And while cinnamon queens are known for their prolific egg laying abilities, they do seem to also be known for having quite a few health issues. Let's see if I can turn around again here and get them. Oh my goodness, what is your all's problem? Okay. So they do have a lot of health problems. They are part of the flock that's only about 18, 19 weeks old. So we'll have to see how they do. So far they are very skittish birds, very skittish birds. They do not want to be, even you can see even me holding the phone out here, they keep shying away from that. But they're very even tempered as far as with the other birds. They do seem to get picked on a little bit. I'm guessing that is probably as much to do with age as anything, since they are the youngest birds in the flock. The last ones I have, and I guess they're going to just show you their tushes, but those are two, also part of the group that is 18 weeks or so old, two blue-laced Wyandottes there in the middle. And they're very non-aggressive birds. They're very flighty. They kind of tend to keep to themselves a little bit. And that even goes with when they're free-ranging and the rooster really has to come out and kind of track them down sometimes and call to them and run them around and get them in the group. You can see, hopefully they really are beautiful. They have not gotten a huge amount of their blue in yet. They've got the blue shading, although it's certainly showing up, and their coloration is really coming in. I'm told they lay about 200 to 250 eggs a day, 200 to 250 eggs a year, which of course is right in line with most of my other birds. And they're kind of low on the pecking order. And again, like the cinnamon queens, I don't know whether that's a function of age and still integrating into the flock, or whether or not that is just their demeanor. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not their demeanor. They do seem to, like I said, to keep apart from the other birds, and they certainly will flee rather than stand up, buck up, and fight. So I guess that's all of them. So let me turn you back around here. Okay, so those are my birds. You can certainly look at all the characteristics of them and look them up. There's plenty of resources on that. I'm not going to go into a ton of things. I will say that for me, several of the things that I've kind of touched on here, and I want to just reiterate, is I did not want broody birds. I don't want hens wanting to be mothers. I needed birds in the Middle Atlantic. We get a cold stretch in the winter, January, February-ish. We can get 10 days to 2 weeks where the temperatures really don't crack above 32, 35 degrees. That's not excessive, certainly not for chickens. But in the summer, we pretty much the whole month of July, we're pressing 90 degrees or more, as well as high humidity. So for me, birds that were able to withstand the heat is a bigger concern than the ones that can withstand the comb. So you can see I have a lot of, while I do have some birds with rose combs, I do certainly also have lots of birds with a single comb that will let them dissipate heat better, as well as, the big earlobes and that sort of thing. I don't have any large birds, the Brahma giants or things like that. They just, everything I've read, they don't do well in the heat and the humidity. I do keep a lot of waterers. Let me turn you back around real quick here. Sorry to keep spinning you around. That blue one was on a wire, and the wire just broke yesterday. I've got to fix that. But you can see I've got a waterer there, and then we've got a waterer here, and then over, peeking around that corner, you see that red thing? That's a heated plate that I use in the wintertime, as well as I've gone to clean it out so it's not sitting there. It usually sits on on that stone pad. I have actually a heated dog bowl You can get those on Amazon. I don't have a link because I'm not an associate. I don't have any, you know, any financial interest. But those heated dog bowls, while they don't hold as much as these, they do fantastic in the winter as far as keeping the water from freezing. So that's just something I discovered from a friend of mine who keeps chickens that she told me about that really is helpful. So what was I'm sorry, that was I always do these side tracks and then try to get back onto the main track. Characteristics of the chickens: not broody, heat. More concerned about being heat tolerant rather than cold tolerant. And the other one was, I wanted good foragers, because the birds do go out every day, almost every day. If it's pouring down raining, what's the point of that? But they do go out almost every day, and they do forage. And we have about 2 acres, so they're working that 2 acres. Only once or twice have they ever actually left. There's plenty around here for them to eat, but they need to be able to find it. This time of year in the fall, I've actually opened the garden up. The garden's pretty well done. In fact, it's done. And they have been loving it, going wild, turning over beds for me and cleaning up any debris that they can find that they like to eat. So anyway, this was a discussion on the chickens, and they always seem to garner a lot of interest. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you maybe if you don't have chickens, got a little bit of insight. Those breeds can all be looked up. Happy Chicken Coop is a great site. Backyard Chicken, look up Backyard Chicken. You'll find like any number of really good quality sites, people that keep chickens, people that are very knowledgeable and can show you talk about any sorts of traits or any kind of concerns or pitfalls with these breeds as well. So look them up, see what you like, and enjoy, because I really have enjoyed my chickens as well. They're a lot of fun. They're fun to watch, and they're great to have. So with that, we will conclude for the day. Stay safe, stay prepared, and I will see you on the next video.